The truth is that everywhere in the world, this dynamics takes place, that you see market move up and down. And of course, that's what makes the market interesting. Why it's going up, some people are rushing and then they may be losing money. Why it's going down, some people become skeptical and they lose money also. So I think it's the wise who take advantage of what is happening. And like they say, it's always the best time to buy. But I would like it or not, if it goes down, anything that goes up comes down. Anything that comes down in the market must always go up.
This is Souk Business Landscape. Hello, good morning, and welcome to your regular breakfast show. This is SBL. If you add a hashtag in front of it, then you have Souk Business Landscape. We're reaching you live from Souk News Television here in Lagos, and the world is catching us. I want to say thank you to everyone that has been part from Monday till this very day, and to everyone that is feeling the pinch of US, Israel, and Iran. It's real, and it's happening. Markets are shaking. The pump prices have started shifting around Africa, and we are really feeling it. We'll get to talk about a whole lot of it today. Now, on the program today, we'll bring that to the fore. Then we'll also be looking at CBN and gold reserve. Yes, you heard that from us. Yesterday, we talked about Dele Alake. As if most times when we say stuff on this particular table, and the next day the stories change, narratives are pushed. We'll also get to tell you what is happening in Britain. Motorists are queuing up for something. A lot is happening, and it's happening very fast. Now we ask you this particular question. How is light situation in your area? If you're a producer, what exactly is happening? We want those particular reactions. Then we also have the story of Disu, the new acting Inspector General of Police and state policing. Now you see why you should be here, why you should talk, why we need to always talk on this table. Now, I'm not alone. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's still me, John Rogers Jokes, but I have a very beautiful person that will be part of the show today, and her face is going to be regular on this table. Join me as I welcome, first time with me, Sarah. Good morning.
Right. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Thank you, Jukes. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am Sarah Odosa, and just like Jukes has rightly said, we have so much to unpack on the program this morning in regards to business, economy, and development, and you are in for an amazing ride. You get to get all the updates on trending stories in this regard, and we get to dissect conversations that, are important for every Nigerian, even those outside Nigeria. Like you mentioned, the US-Iran war is taking a toll everywhere. Oil prices are being affected. So we get to look into it and so much more.
Okay, I'm just that guy that happens to be blessed, and hey, she's stuck with us. You're welcome. Yes, let's get straight to the first story of the day, and it has to do with the market. We will never leave there. That's always our first goal to place. Now, Nigerian equity market. Now, it's closing lower than yesterday, majorly amid heavy sell-offs. Nigerian equity market closed lower on Wednesday as heavy sell-offs in Dangote Sugar Refinery, Jais Bank, and other decliners erased roughly 102 billion from the Nigerian exchange market capitalization. The all-share index slipped to 0.08% to 196,463.22 points, while the total market capitalization settled at 126.1 trillion, reflecting investor caution. Now, declines in EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, that's about minus 4.46%, and international breweries outweighed gains in MTN Nigeria and UAC of Nigeria. That's plus they did plus 7.78%. Market breadth widened a bit though, closing at 0.61, with 36 stocks recording losses compared with 22 gainers. Now, analysts are saying that negative sentiment stemmed from profit taking, which has been what we've been seeing all through the end of February and beginning of this year. And selling in blue chip stocks amid ongoing economic and market uncertainties. We've seen a whole lot of that going. We are a bit kind of shielded a bit from what's happening internationally, even though markets are being hit up right center. But ours, for now, that sudden hit and that sudden change and that sudden transactional differentials have not really hit our market, and we pray it doesn't hit our market. But this fear is always those particular monies in our market that came from outside Nigeria. We are still looking forward to when we'll have that policy where you have a time frame to pull out. Okay, now let's look at major gainers and losers from yesterday.
Right. So from what we were able to gather, we can see that the investors sold off shares in key companies, like you mentioned, Dangote Sugar Refinery and Jaiz Bank, while some stocks like the MTN and UAC recorded gains. This is over the months, Nigeria's equity market has experienced some sort of growth in recent months, like I said, but so corrections like this are not things that should shake us off. They're things that are common. And but one thing to note is when there is a persistent sell-off in the Nigerian equity market, this may also be some sort of indication towards some institutional investors that are becoming cautious about the economic outlook of things. Looking at it now, we can see that the war, would I use the word war? Yes, the crisis ongoing is taking a toll. So a lot of investors would, start to look at things from a different angle.
Okay, while investors are looking at things from a different angle, let's take you to Zoom. I have the privilege of telling you that the Oracle himself, Dr. Odosa, he's joining us via Zoom. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chooks.
Beautiful. You're welcome.
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, viewers. Pleasure to be here this morning.
Okay. Well, talking about the story from our NGX and looking at some sell-off that has been happening, Sarah is looking at the view and attributing some of it to what is happening globally. But also, we also have this particular possibility that when a group of people or somebody somewhere hiding somewhere can easily buy up more shares of a particular company and we think is gradual sell-off, then after 2 months, we hear what is happening. We've seen that happen with the power sector when it has to do with Odosa. We've seen that happen with First Bank. We've seen that happen with even some of Dangote's shares too. Do you see possibilities of this continuous sellout for specific companies, and tomorrow we'll get to hear some news that will now say, we didn't see this coming?
Well, anything is possible here. Like they used to say in Charlie Boy's show, anything is possible. The Nigerian market is not driven most time by very long-term investment philosophy, but people are always driven by how to quickly make money and get away off the market. And that kind of arbitrage mentality is what drives the Nigerian equity system. And I think, of course, people speculate. You can't blame them for that. A lot of things could be happening on that ground, which we may not be able to attest to. But the truth is that everywhere in the world, these dynamics takes place, that you see market move up and down. And of course, that's what makes the market interesting. Why it's going up, some people are rushing and then they may be losing money. Why it's going down, some people become skeptical and they lose money also. So I think it's the wise who take advantage of what is happening. And as the market gets down, like they say, it's always the best time to buy. But I would like it or not, if it goes down, anything that goes up comes down. Anything that comes down in the market must always go up.
Anything that goes up must come down. That's in the market.
Right. But Dr. Odosa, just to throw this out there, is this current normal market, is this current decline a normal market correction? Would you say this is a normal market correction? Could it be a signal towards a slower decline in investors' confidence?
I don't think at all. Every indicator that is present in the market at the moment points to the fact that investors, whether local or foreign, are having more confidence in the Nigerian market. There's a whole lot of inflow that is coming in. But you see, trading in the market is like people looking for value. And people tend to want to put their resource where they will get the best of value. So on a normal day, you see that happen. The law of demand and supply affecting what's happening in the market. It goes up today, it can come down tomorrow. But I don't think there's anything to worry about in terms of what is happening in our local exchange. Even if the crisis escalates, as people tend to want to believe, I don't think it will affect the sentiment that is in our market so much. And that is because we really are still dealing more with ourselves. There's not so much in the market that is transferring from here to other markets that you may think that, oh, value are going to shift if we are not able to export or things like that. So I think that there's confidence in the market. This is a just normal, natural dynamics in the stock market that sometimes it gets up, sometimes it's also get down. And of course, those who know how to appropriate value look at this moment when things seems to be going down, and then of course they can quickly take advantage of it.
Looking at the market when things seems to be going down and taking advantage of it. You made this particular observation earlier on. You talked much about long-term investments and the Nigerian character of not really taking into cognizance that most times the long-term investment is most important. We do mostly shorting. How is it possible for us to start changing that narrative? Aside what is coming from the PENCOM and other institutions that will be investing public money, but individuals now, how can we start educating people more that being a part of the organization and the company and its growth is more important than short-term gains?
Well, I think it's also a dynamic of the political economy of our society. We are still in the primitive stage of capital accumulation. Once prosperity is on the surface, then of course people can keep things for a very long time. But right now, people are thinking about how to move up and build capital for investment or to live a good life. And that is why you find that there's so much speculation that gets on in the market. People are not too much focused so much on the long term in the immediate, because you have to survive the short term before you can think about the long term. And I think that is what is there. There's a whole lot of education that needs also to be done in this regard to let people understand the value of allowing your stock to stay for a long time before trade-offs or sell-off. That education needs also to be made, that the stock market is, or the capital market generally is not a place where you put money today and you want to take it out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It takes time to mature, and it takes time for prosperity to happen in that market.
Right. So you have to survive the short term before you can think of the long term. So what are some of the strategies that investors should look into adopting during periods of, market volatility? What are some of the strategies that they can adopt?
Well, I think that is the survival mode that everybody is in. And so when you see that market is volatile, people quickly look at, oh, if this stock is not doing well, let me quickly move out of this place and go to the next place where I think value is. Yeah, but that kind of trading pattern somehow do not naturally give us the right value. Let me give you an instance, for example, because you mentioned the MTN stock a while ago. When, of course, the public offer was done some 3 years ago, I think it was selling at 169. And at a certain point, the stock came to 167, 165. And some people would have been thinking that they have lost some money. Same with Fidelity Bank when they did their public offer in 2008. The value of the stock was sold at 8 naira. And at a certain point, it was selling below 1 naira. And people were angry. And I know of people particularly who did participate in that offer, who regretted going into the market at all. But you see, we need to constantly educate people to understand that, yes, stock investment is a long-term approach to wealth creation and not a short-term. But when you go back to look at those values today, you will see that MTN that sold at 169 today is selling over 700 naira per unit. And if you sold off when it was 200 and you thought that that was the height it could go, then you would have lost a lot of money. But if you have kept that money to today, you see the value that had gone into it. Same with the Fidelity Bank I just mentioned. Today, Fidelity is selling over 20 naira from 0 to 20 naira. That's significant climb that you can see in that market. It's just people need to be patient that when you are dealing in the capital market, you must have a long-term focus, not just the immediate return that you're going to get in sell-off. Because when you don't sell it, you will find that the stock also now has risen maybe 200, 300% above what you sold. Then, of course, you find some regret. So we need some patience to deal with the capital market.